Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something super fundamental, a question that's at the heart of biology, really. How does complex life get organized? I mean, from just one single cell all the way up to a massive organism, there's this incredible system, this division of labor. And guess what? It all kicks off with tissues. Seriously, how does it all work? Just stop and think about it for a second. You've got a giant tree, you've got a human. Millions of jobs are happening all at once. Nutrients are getting moved around, muscles are contracting, messages are zipping back and forth. How does this not just descend into total chaos? Well, the answer is actually pretty elegant: specialization and organization. And that organization, it's this amazing hierarchy. It all starts with the basic building blocks, the cells. But, and this is the key part, when a bunch of similar cells team up to do one specific job, bam, they form a tissue. And from there, tissues build organs, organs build organ systems, and before you know it, you've got a whole organism. So for today, we're zooming in on that really crucial second step, tissues. Okay, so we're going to start with plants. And look, I get it. Some of these biological names can be a little much, right? They sound super complicated. So to make this all way easier to remember, we're going to use a simple story. Trust me, it's a great little trick to keep track of everything without having to just memorize a giant, boring list. All right, so imagine our story begins in a place we'll call MP. Now, MP isn't just some random spot on a map. It's our little code for the two main categories of plant tissue, M for meristematic and P for permanent. Honestly, getting this difference down is the first big step to understanding how plants are put together. And right here, you can see the huge difference between them. Meristematic tissue. Think of these as the growers. They're the construction crew of the plant world. Their cells are just constantly dividing, making more cells. They have thin walls so they can expand easily, and they don't have big storage tanks or vacuoles, because all their energy is going into one thing: growth. Now, permanent tissues, they're the specialists. They've graduated from the growing phase. Their cells have stopped dividing and have taken on their forever jobs, developing thicker walls for support and big vacuoles to store food and water. Okay, back to our story. In the land of NP, we meet a character named Allie. And Allie is going to be our guide to the three types of growing tissue. The A in Allie stands for apical. This is the tissue at the very tips of roots and stems that makes the plant grow taller or longer. The L stands for lateral, which makes the plant grow wider, increasing its thickness. And the I? That's for intercalary, which you find at the base of leaves and internodes, helping those specific spots grow. So what happens after all that growing? Well, those cells mature and become permanent tissues. And we'll start with the simple ones. For this, our next code word is PCS. Think of it like a high achiever. P is for parenchyma. These are the living cells that act like the plant's pantry, storing food. C is for collenchyma, which are also living. They give the plant flexibility. They're the reason a stem can bend in the wind and not just snap. And S is for sclerenchyma. Now, these cells are dead, but they're incredibly strong. They have super thick walls hardened with lignin. This is the stuff that makes a coconut shell so tough you can barely break it. And to wrap up our plant story, we meet the two brothers, the complex permanent tissues. We call them complex because, unlike the simple ones, they're made of a few different cell types, all working as a team. The first brother is xylem. His job is to be the pipeline that brings water and minerals up from the roots. The other brother, phloem, is in charge of food delivery. It takes the sugary food made in the leaves and transports it everywhere else in the plant, up or down. Together, these two are the plant's entire plumbing system. All right, let's switch gears and jump over to the animal kingdom. And things are a bit different here. With plants, a lot of it was about growth versus non-growth. With animals, it's way more useful to think about tissues based on what they do. So we're going to look at four main jobs: the protectors, the connectors, the movers, and of course, the messengers. First on our list are the protectors, epithelial tissue. I want you to think of this stuff as the body's bouncers and border patrol all rolled into one. It's basically a solid sheet of cells, all packed tightly together to form a barrier. This is your skin, for one, but it also lines everything on the inside. All your organs, all your body cavities. It's the gatekeeper. And what's so cool is that the shape of these protector cells is perfectly matched to their specific job. Your skin, for example, needs to be tough, right? So it's got lots of layers. We call that stratified squamous. But in your kidneys, where you need to absorb things, the cells are just a single layer of little cubes, or cuboidal cells. And in your intestine, they're tall columns, columnar cells, to create a huge surface area for soaking up all those nutrients from your food. Okay, next up are the connectors. Connective tissue is literally the stuff that holds you together. It's the body's glue, its scaffolding, its framework. The main thing to know about it is that the cells are kind of spread out, and they're floating around in this non-living stuff called a matrix. And that matrix can be anything. It can be a liquid, a gel, or even rock solid. And the variety in this group is just wild. I mean, would you believe that blood is a type of connective tissue? Its matrix is the liquid plasma. Then you've got bone, where the matrix is solid calcium, giving you your skeleton. You've got cartilage, which is that flexible stuff in your ears and nose. And then you have the really tough, stringy connectors, ligaments, which tie bone to bone, and tendons, which hook your muscles onto your bones. Time for the movers. This is the action tissue. Muscular tissue is designed for one thing: movement. It's made of these long cells called muscle fibers, and they're packed with these amazing little proteins that can pull together or contract and then relax. Literally every single thing you do, from blinking your eye to sprinting down the street, happens because of this tissue. And we've actually got 3 different kinds of muscle. First, there's striated or skeletal muscle. This is the stuff you control. You decide to lift your arm, and it happens. It's voluntary. Then you have smooth muscle. This is the automatic stuff, the muscle you don't think about. It's working away in your stomach and your blood vessels. And last but not least, there's cardiac muscle. This one is super special. It's only found in the heart. It's involuntary, thank goodness, and it just keeps on beating day in and day out for your entire life. And finally, we get to the messengers. Nervous tissue is the body's internet, its high-speed communications network. It's made of these incredibly specialized cells that are all about sending signals fast. They get a message, and they transmit it in a flash to another part of the body. This is the tissue that makes up your brain, your spinal cord, and every single nerve that connects them to everything else. The star player here is the neuron, and it's just perfectly built for the job. You've got these little branches called dendrites that act like antennas, picking up signals. Those signals go to the cell body, which is kind of like the headquarters. And then a single long cable called an axon shoots that signal out, zapping it over to the next neuron or maybe a muscle cell to tell it what to do. Okay, so we've met the main players in both the plant and animal worlds, which brings up a really interesting question, right? Why are they so different? I mean, really fundamentally different. The answer, it turns out, gets right to the heart of what it even means to be a plant versus an animal. It all boils down to one simple thing: lifestyle. Think about it. Plants don't move. They're stuck in one spot. So what do they need? They need to be sturdy. They need support. That's why so much of a plant is made of supportive tissue. A lot of it even dead cells, like wood, because it provides strength without costing any energy. Now, animals, we're the complete opposite. We're mobile. We have to go out and find our food, and that takes a ton of energy. So almost all of our tissues have to be living, active cells to power all that movement and thinking. They're just 2 totally different solutions to 2 totally different ways of living. So, after our whole tour, from the coconut shell to the human heart, we can circle right back to that simple definition from the beginning, and it really does sum it all up perfectly, doesn't it? A tissue is just a team of cells, all similar in their build, all working together to get one particular job done. That's it. Simple, but so powerful. So, let's wrap this up with a fun thought experiment. We've seen over and over again today that in biology, structure is everything. The way something is built determines what it can do. So, if you could be an engineer for the human body, what new tissue would you design? What new ability would you give us? And what would its cells look like to make that happen? It's a pretty cool question to chew on, and it really gets to the core of what biology is all about. Thanks for hanging out with me today.